we're here today to introduce ourselves and to give a bit of a backstory of who we are and how Mandy and I ended up in this running this program together. My name is Camilla de, and I have done 12 international relocations. I guess that is the main thing that takes me into this room. So a lifetime of working and living in different countries. And I have supported others on this journey for about 15 years now, um, both on the relocation, the soft skills around the relocation, I should say. But then I've also moved into supporting leaders on cross-cultural awareness and how to lead cross-cultural teams, but most importantly, going through transitions. So a very short story about me. Mandy, over to you. What brings you here?
Thank you, Camilla. So my name is Mandy Murphy, and I am a transition coach, also focused mainly on careers or people going through quite major changes in their life, and hence we are kind of collaborating here together and bringing our skills on this program. I also have a property and a six-bedroom house in a town called Saumur, which is in the Loire Valley in France. And I have lots of experience of what it's been like, kind of setting up a community and growing a business as well. And we run a series of retreats and events at our home in Saumur. And so we're looking to kind of share all of that with you so that we can support transitions to moving home into Europe. So that's me. Thank you.
Yeah. And I guess I'll add that I am currently living in the Netherlands, but really wanted to work with Mandy on this because her property is just lovely and such a delight to explore.
We're in our living room right now. Oh,
Yes, indeed.
must be really good to talk a little bit about the program and kind of why we've set up Landing Well in Europe. Do you
Yeah.
want to start, Camilla, with kind of where kind of that started for you?
Yeah. Um, I've done a lot of online programs on how to settle, a lot of, that the space where you can get the resources. But for me, it was really about creating a space where you come together. So I think the face-to-face component of our program is very important to learn together
Mm.
with others because it is such a journey and getting different perspectives is important, but making it fun being in an environment. I know everyone's not looking to move to Samur specifically, but just being in a different environment, exploring what it feels like, having fun, and going out and sort of feeling what will this be like for me is very important.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it can be anywhere in Europe if depending on where people want to go. We've got exper fairly good experience really of different countries and kind of moving and adapting to different bureaucracies and different rules and different cultures. And there's hopefully lots of experiences and tips that we can share on the program. Everything from like we renovated our property, it was empty for 10 years before we bought it, and then engaging with French artisans was quite an experience. One that we feel we're kind of quite perfected, but it's almost there, and it's been a really interesting time. It's particularly if you want to use people who are local and support the
Mm.
local communities that you're in as well. So yeah, so we'll be able to share lots of that. I was just wondering whether we should explain what the program is and kind of
Mm.
how it looks. Really, maybe that will give people a feel to what they would experience with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, really getting into creating clarity for yourself about what you want to achieve, with this relocation. You know, creating that vision. I think that is one of the big starting blocks of everything. But on top of that, I think it's that emotional journey,
Yeah.
right? Is there something else that you'd like to sort of stress?
Yeah, no, I think certainly from meeting and building relationships with people who have made a major transition, particularly from countries like the United States. Um, there's a people are feeling burnout, if I could say that, kind of an emotional burnout is exhausting. So you
Mm,
have all of the paperwork and you have all of the physical things you have to do, and your to-do list is full of those things. Particularly our experience in France, it's quite bureaucratic. It's never just one form; it's three forms for the one thing. But there's also the emotional exhaustion that comes with that because it's weary when someone says it's yeah, we have this form, but now we need you to fill another one in. And then you're also trying to think about whether it's finding schools for your children or actually if you're retiring
mm,
or changing careers altogether and doing a pivot and actually working out in your mind, so how am I going to settle in there? What am I going to be doing? I haven't quite created a vision of what my day to day is going to look like. Who are the people I'm going to be mingling with? And I don't speak French, so how is that going to look? And actually, I don't know how they're going to receive me. So there's all those kind of things that I've kind of seen other people have questions, and I just want to kind of go, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine because our coaching experience gives that, doesn't it? And so there's
yeah,
something around creating a program that supports somebody to feel okay and have the tools to kind of help them push forward and push
mm,
through so that actually it's why we called it landing well, so that you can actually land well with confidence and with ease and with comfort and reassurance knowing that actually it's going to be okay.
yeah. And going through all of that, you know, just connecting with what is it I'm trying to achieve. So you actually know where you're heading, because as you said, there it's a lot, and knowing where you're going and knowing how to create the bandwidth to deal with all of those things, because they can be fun, despite being challenging and energy consuming. They can be fun, and that's what you want. But that's what we want you to experience, and that's what we're hoping to help you with.
Yeah,
With the
exactly.
program.
Because it becomes part of the bigger package, which is then enjoying all the things and the reasons why you want to go there in the first place. Whether
Exactly.
it's the pace of life, whether it's immersing yourself into the cultural surroundings, and also just enjoying everything that it has to offer. Like one of our favorite pastimes is to have coffee in the market square on a Saturday morning and just people watch. It's just
Yeah,
allowing you to do that without having all these other things preoccupying your mind so that you can enjoy it.
yeah, yeah. And noticing it, giving yourself space to notice those things. Because how do you value a whole relocation by actually saying it's great because I can sit in the market and have my coffee? You actually need to be very uh, honest with yourself about what you're looking for
Yeah.
throughout this. And anyway,
Yeah.
that is an individual conversation to be had, right? About what is everyone looking for, but it is an important one as well.
Yeah. I think even on the retreat itself, everybody will have different needs and be at different stages of their transition. But we'll be able to accommodate everything in the one program. So I don't think anybody needs to worry about how they achieve that. And I think just to kind of to say that the format for the program is we will have a downloadable workbook before the program starts so that you can kind of work through some of the exercises that we have on there. And then we will have an online session a few weeks before we have our retreat. And then our retreat itself is a 3 day program in person at our home in Samur. And then we will follow up with an online session, gather everybody together and see if everybody is settling in well after our program and how things are going so that we can support people with any ongoing challenges. Because sometimes the work happens after the coaching program, doesn't it? And so there's things happening and you're trying to work through some of the tools and things. So yeah, so from a format perspective, it's quite nicely, neatly packaged.
Yeah.
Probably.
And if I may add to that, we really want to make sure that it's not hard work, that it is fun as well. So we do all of this while actually relaxing together. So it's not sitting in the school bench. It's actually exploring and relaxing in this environment, which is just lovely.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's a really important part of the retreat that I don't think is offered on other programs.
Mm,
I'd say that. I think there's we want to share kind of going to the market on Saturday morning and, undertaking a few activities that are on locally, maybe meeting some of our local expat friends and some of that community so you can ask questions and you can kind of
mm,
talk to them about their transition. So it's not just about Camilla and I, who'll actually get to experience it for other people, from other people as well. And yeah, and just as we're kind of doing things and immersing ourselves into the environment, other things may crop up that we may not have thought about if we just ran it as an online program. So I think
mm.
it's a really important part of the program is that immersion piece in summer.
Yeah. And I guess I want to add, this thing of how do we want to feel? How do we feel stepping into this program? And I feel it's important to say that I'm not stepping in here as like a teacher. I'm stepping in as a guide when we together go on an adventure. So just that sentiment of what this is about. This is about us doing an adventure together. Um,
Yeah.
and that leading in a little bit as well to there is an aspect, we touch upon it, is the cross-cultural awareness. When we go to the market, what do you react to? So that we create, a part of the program is creating an awareness of how do I react to other cultures? What do I need to learn to be able to fit in the way that I want to be in
Yeah.
this space? And that can be a lot of fun.
think so. I think it's really, really interesting because you just don't think about it. You just
Mm,
launch yourself in, you move in, you're so preoccupied with, getting all the paperwork sorted, getting the movers sorted, and then the movers come and you unpack, and then you go down to the local town and into the square and, as I say, in the market, and you don't kind of think about in advance, how am I going to feel? What am I going to do? Am I going to just kind of mosey around? My response to not understanding something that's been said to me,
mm,
that I always find interesting. And sometimes I look like a deer in the headlights, like, I don't know what to
yeah.
say. And also sometimes my French is really slow in coming. So they've already moved on to the next sentence before I've had a chance to reply, going, oh, but I really want to say this because I learned it.
Yeah, yeah.
And kind of how we can not feel anxious about that and be a bit more open. And oh God, I've loads of tips on French. I learned French phrases to kind of help them slow down and wait for me.
Mm.
And just kind of say things like, "Oh, I'm still learning French," or "My French is really bad. I'm really sorry." And they're always like, "No, no, no, it's really good. You go on." And or I might say, I learned to say, "My teacher's t telling me to practice, practice, practice." And
Mm.
that always brings a smile as well. And they're like, yes, it's important. And so then they kind of then slow down for you. But it's that kind of stuff. You don't think about that
Mm.
in advance,
Yeah,
and how I can be prepared and not feel anxious and scared. And I'm not going to do that again. You know, the way some people just
mm.
will not ask the price of
Yeah.
something or
And other example of cultural differences. I I recently had a conversation with someone who was a little bit upset because the neighbor came into their garden,
oh
without being invited. And now, what does that mean? Some places that is being friendly. That is being friendly, and you just show up and you chat with your neighbors. While in some places, it's seen as not something you should do. You need to be invited into the garden. So it's just, trying to figure out how do I react
yeah,
to my neighbor coming into the garden if that is the normal way to be in your new place of
yeah,
living, right? Because if you react to it and you're hostile, your neighbor might get upset, right? So it's really about figuring out how can I be curious? My neighbor shows up. What does that mean? How do I react? And how does my reaction then, what does that lead to? So there's not a right or a wrong. It's just about being aware of what does it mean
Yeah,
and how do I want to set my boundaries as well.
but this is
Because of
it.
course you're not meant to change, but do it in a way that works, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's so funny because that reminded me of what happened to us. So, as I said, our house was empty for 10 years. And all of a sudden the gates were open and there was we'd workmen coming in and out. I can't tell you how many people stopped and popped their head in the gate. What's going on in here?
Yeah.
And we moved from London to Smyr, and London's very kind of private and enclosed. People really don't say hello on the street, and it's so very different. I was kind of like thrown back to my Irish cultural heritage, which is doors always open, the gates always, you all come in, and there's no problem. So I kind of, I had a really weird connection with my Irish culture at that moment when we were kind of like, ah, yeah, sure, we can tell them we're renovating the house or we're doing this. It's fine. And yeah, so it's really interesting. You kind of think, and they don't think about it that they're doing anything wrong. That they just kind of
No, no, of course not.
going on here.
And also, I mean, if they've been living there and seeing the house empty for 10 years and they're, yeah, I mean, they're probably really positive about what's going on and they're curious.
Yeah,
So make the most of that.
yeah.
But yeah, sometimes you need to prepare yourself for that.
I know you do, you do.
Yeah.
And I think it's embracing it as not being nosy in a because we do get, there are bad neighbors around, but
Mm.
in the main, I've found French people to be very welcoming, really happy you're doing some work and you're actually looking to build a life there. And so very, very well received. I've never heard of anyone who wasn't received with open, welcoming arms, especially when they're doing work and preserve it. They're big into preserving things and helping things to live longer and in properties and things like that. So yeah, it's usually well-meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we renovated in the Netherlands, completely different culture actually to the French, but yeah, we also had people waving at us when we moved into the house and all these kind of things and being curious, but
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
nice. That's nice. So we'll leave it there. We've got lots of information on our webpage of what the program includes, and there are booking links, and there's also an inquiry links if anybody wants to
mm,
ask questions, and the downloadable forms will be ready very soon as well. And so yeah, we're very excited. So we just hope yeah, we hope this is exciting for other people too.
yeah. And also to say that the links to our professional websites will be on there. They are focused on perhaps other stuff. This is who we are as individuals, and this is us bringing our professional expertise into this space. But just to notice that our links to build on what we bring into this program is available as well.
That's yeah, really good. Thank you so much, Camilla. And yeah, hope to see some people soon.
We look forward to it. Yeah, can't wait.